All right. Good evening, everyone. We are so glad that you are here with us here at our Next Steps event for April. We have a wonderful special guest with us who is no stranger to Riverside. But to some of you may be new, and we have Mrs. Heather Martin with us. We are just so glad that she is here, and we have an exciting event. I'm super excited about what is coming up for us this evening. We're going to start off with prayer, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest, and then we'll roll from there. All right? Let's bow our heads. Lord, we are thankful for everything you've done for us, and thank you so much for this opportunity to learn about how to grow in you through our body temple. Be with us this evening. Amen. Okay, everybody, tonight we have with us, as I mentioned, Miss Heather Martin. She is a member, some of you may recognize her, of the very popular gospel trio Virtue. She is a mother, she is a wife, she is a sister, she is a daughter, and she is a cook, y'all. She is a chef. She is Chef Mommy. And she began this journey in 2016 when she did her YouTube. She started her cooking channel. Now, let's be clear. She did not start cooking in 2016. She comes from a long history of wonderful New Orleans cooks in her family. But she decided to start a cooking channel in 2016 to talk about having a healthy eating lifestyle. And really, it all was birthed for her necessity to even change the way she was cooking due to the needs of her children. And I'm sure she'll share a little bit about that. But they had specific health needs as it relates to food allergies. And so she wanted to be able to get in that kitchen and not only have safe food, but yummy, good tasting food. So Heather began this journey of the Chef Mommy and has had the opportunity to cook with numerous celebrity chefs. As I mentioned, she has a YouTube channel, her Instagram page, Facebook page, and she's in the process of releasing her first lifestyle cookbook, which we are so excited about and cannot wait for it to come out. So you guys did not come on here to see me. I am your Next Steps Director at Riverside, Nashville, Summer Wood, and we are just all about providing content that helps people in their daily lives. Our spiritual lives are important, but taking care of our body temple, our mind, and so much more is just absolutely a part of that journey. So that's what Next Steps is about, helping you to take that next best step. And tonight we have Heather here to help us to take that next best step. And without further ado, I'll pass it on over to Heather.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Summer, for having me, and to Riverside Church, my home church, for 2 years when I lived in Nashville once upon a time, a couple years ago. I'm really honored to be here with you and excited to share with you tonight and to cook. I have my countertop here filled with some stuff. And I don't know if I need to do the introduction because I think Summer said everything well, but I will because my husband put this together for me. So I want to just tell you a little bit about my journey before we jump right in to cooking. Let's see. Well, it's okay. Summer, if you can enable the participant screen sharing, then I could do it. But anyway, I think Summer said everything beautifully about my beginnings with cooking. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, a place that is well known for its cuisine and its yummy, amazing food. And I grew up with a mother and a house full of people who could just cook, uncles and my aunts and sisters and my mom. And I never ever really thought that I would be a person in the kitchen all the time, but like God always has plans. His plans are not our plans. And so now I'm not sure if I'm sharing the screen yet. Am I not sharing it yet?
You're okay. Sharing. Mm-hmm.
So there we are. That's my background. The first one that that you see there, that's a little bit of New Orleans marching through the streets. And Summer told you that, and I'm just telling you, we're gonna go through it briefly just so we can save time. And the person you see right now is my mother, and I'm not sure if she's a part of this webinar right now, but she is the most instrumental part of it. I told you God's plans are not our plans. And when my kids got diagnosed with food allergies, I did not realize God's timing is so perfect. All those years, the way we ate, I did not realize the way my mom was teaching me to cook was without using eggs and milk and the very things that my kids were allergic to, because she has been a vegan for so many years. So mommy, thank you. And that lady is the lady who's taught me to cook and taught me everything I know. This is a part of who I am. You probably see me like Summer said, I'm a part of the girl group Virtue, and those are my two sisters who are very important to me, who have taught me so much about cooking, singing, and life. So as in anything, when anything happens in your life, good or bad, they've always been there for me and they've always supported me. So even with these food allergies and our kids, they have been such an amazing part of it. But those are only two of my sisters. This is my oldest sister, and her name is Dion. And she has taught me so much. I look up to her. She is such a guru in the kitchen and all things health and wellness. She has her own company called Red's Kitchen Sink, and it has really, really blessed our family to be able to share this legacy of health and wealth, because health is wealth with everybody. And then there was another picture I wanted to show you of the rest of my family. It's all 6 of us there. My oldest sister is in the middle. She passed on a couple years ago, and my brother is on the end. There's my mom, Ebony, Karima, and Dion. And that's my family. Family is so important with cooking. But I'm gonna jump forward to my family. In 2004, I got married to this amazing guy, Dr. Colin Alex Martin, and we had 4 kids. And there are 4 kids and our 5th fur baby. There's Magic. And you know, you never know what life is gonna bring you. And for us, it brought us wonderful blessings and children, but also food allergies. At a very young age, I just wanted to show this picture because Harper is there sitting on my lap, and there's Carly. But if you can look close at Harper's red cheeks, you can see that when they were little, her cheeks were so full of eczema. Actually, my son before her, I knew they had food allergies because his eczema was just out of control, head to toe, something I had never, ever seen or dealt with before. So then we decided we need to get these children tested for food allergies. And boy, when we did, we were not ready for what we found out. So it changed our lives completely because we learned they were allergic to dairy, that's milk, that's anything that is, you know, butter, all of those things that people really use and put in common food ingredients. And I'm gonna turn my water down here. I'm probably cooking out of the pot. They're allergic to dairy, they're allergic to eggs, they're allergic to nuts, fish, flax seeds, and some other seeds. It was pretty much overwhelming for me. And I realized that early on, I told you it was a blessing having my mother who lives with us to be able to help me, because a lot of the things that we were already doing was good for the kids. We baked without eggs. She was vegan, so she really just helped me transition into having a lifestyle, creating things for the kids that were safe for them to eat, and so they wouldn't feel left out. And so a couple years ago, my sister and I were deciding to share it with the world through YouTube, and my son came up with a song, and it was Chef Mommy in the House. So then I started my YouTube channel, and I said, if I'm struggling, then I know there are other people out there who are maybe struggling with changing their diets for whatever reasons, but I just wanted to be an example to show people that you can do anything with God on your side. And He has allowed me to find recipes, be creative. They don't miss out on birthday cakes. These are things that I've made, and these are things that I do. They don't miss out even on treats. So like they couldn't have goldfish, which I think is like such a monumental part of childhood. So we make our own goldfish. And so I want to encourage you tonight that you can do anything, no matter what your challenges are and no matter what your goals are. You just have to stick to it and be really, really intentional. So with that said, This is my family. Welcome to my kitchen. Let's cook. All right. So tonight it was hard for me to decide what I wanted to cook with you guys. And I decided to go for something that is very healthy and amazing tasting, because flavor is very important. So we're gonna make pesto pasta, and with some ingredients that are going to be a little bit different from what you're used to, but it's going to be amazing. We're going to make pesto pasta with roasted mushrooms and sun-dried tomatoes. We're going to also make red cabbage, which is one of my favorite things to make. So the first thing I want to do is start off by, I have my oven preheated to 350, and here I have a variety, and I'm going to show you on both cameras. I don't know which one will show you better. I have a variety of mushrooms available. I got shiitake mushrooms in here. This is a shiitake. I have baby bellas, which are my favorites. And I have some oyster mushrooms. And I'm going to just chop those oyster mushrooms up just a wee bit. Because sometimes when you're cooking for kids, you have to play some tricks and some mind games on them. But that's the only one that I'm gonna chop up because it was huge. So the other thing I'm gonna do is I have some garlic. Garlic is my favorite. It's the foundation for almost everything I cook. So I'm gonna put some garlic in here with the mushroom, and I'm gonna be very generous with it. And I have a lot of parsley chopped here. Cooking vegan is all about layering the flavors and using herbs the same way that you would cook meat. You still want to do that with vegetables and maybe go even a little bit beyond, okay? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to lay them on my pan. I wish I had lined my pan, but it's okay. So we got some parsley in there, and we've got tons of garlic. And this is very pretty. And what I'm going to do is just douse it a little bit with some olive oil, or you can use grapeseed oil, avocado oil, whatever oil suits your fancy. Okay. And then I'm just going to go in with a little bit of salt on my mushrooms. You want them to taste amazing. And can you guys see that? I'm gonna stick this beautiful pan of mushrooms, parsley, and fresh garlic into the oven to roast. And I've got a lot of mushrooms on here because mushrooms are meaty. Mushrooms do so much good for us. And I'm gonna hand it off to my helper to put into the oven. That's my mushrooms, parsley, and now, the next step that I'm gonna do, I have some water boiling for my pasta. Guys, there are so many options out there for pasta. A lot of people have, thank God we don't have gluten allergies in my family. The Lord knew I needed a break from something. So, but we try to vary it up because gluten can be a stinker. You have to not get so much of it in because the way that wheats are made these days, it can be very upsetting to your stomach. A lot of us have gluten sensitivities and we don't realize it. So what I did is I put a little bit of oil in my water and I'm salting it pretty generously. And I'm gonna grab some linguine. Pasta is what I have, and it is actually wheat, but I have so many different kinds. Sometimes I try and just vary things up for my kids. And I'm gonna put that in because there's no cooking with our pesto sauce. It's gonna be very quick, and I'm gonna tell you the ingredients. My husband is so sweet. You may see him ducking in and out of the camera to help me, but I'm gonna stick my pasta in there because my water is boiling, and I'm gonna see how great I do at multitasking. Da, 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 da. Hey, all right. So we got the pasta in the pot, and while we do that, what I'm gonna do right now is start on the cabbage, okay? I'm gonna start on the cabbage. The mushrooms will probably take about 20 minutes, and while we're talking and chatting it up, We're gonna do that. So I have a pan here. I'm gonna let the pan get a little bit warm first, and then I'm gonna go in with some oil, some olive oil. EV extra virgin olive oil is what I'm using tonight. And cabbage, I always, growing up, I don't know what it is about eating pickled cabbage. I loved pickled cabbage. So even when my mom would make it, I would put like vinegar on my cabbage. So I carried that on to now. I don't know if anybody else does that, but it is delicious. And that's what I'm going for this evening. I have red cabbage, purple cabbage, which happens to be rich in vitamin K. It's good for inflammation. It's really just something that's healthy to have. And I think I was reading that it's also high in selenium. And selenium is an antioxidant that helps us build up our immunity, and that it will help your immune system, help you, to be more responsive and reactive. And right now, in the world that we're living, who doesn't need a boost of immunity, right? So there's a little bit of water in my pan. I'm just gonna take this and help the water to come out so we can move it along and make sure my pasta doesn't get sticking together. Yes, so now what I'm gonna do is put some olive oil in my pan, beautiful pan. And I don't wanna have it too high because I don't wanna burn it. And the things that I have, guys, I came up with this recipe last summer because I had fallen in love with leeks, and onions are just so good for you. They're good for high blood pressure. They do so many things. So does garlic. Garlic is one that you use if you get sick. I have a friend, I don't know if my best friend is in here. Her name is Dana. Hey, Dana, if you're in here, she will take some garlic and just put it straight in her mouth if she's feeling bad. And so garlic is something that will kill germs and help you be well. So what we're gonna do is use it. I love garlic. I always try and do a base of garlic and some type of onion, right? So tonight I have a huge, bigger shallot that I chopped up here. And I'm gonna put my shallot in there in my pan. And I feel like I might burn it in my pan, so I don't want it to burn at all. But when you're cooking it, you're gonna get some of that flavor out of it. I have shallots and I have leeks. You know, the big old leeks that have, and they can be super sandy, so you wanna make sure you wash them. You can get a little bit of the white, and I just happen to not have very much of the white left because I've used it and I realized, I forgot to get leeks. But leeks is such a big part of the flavor profile that we're going for tonight. And so I am just going to let these things, and I'm gonna put the garlic in there last because I don't want my garlic burning up. I'm gonna put my garlic in last, but I'm gonna just saute these veggies, and look how green the leeks got just as I put them in there. And you know what? It doesn't hurt to have a whole lot of flavor. So you know what I'm gonna do? Oh, after I just knocked over some dill, I am going to add, because I think it's so pretty when you do like monochromatic food. So we're gonna dump some beautiful red onions. See how they all match? That color has to do something for you. Tonight, I am trying to practice what I preach in eating the rainbow. The healthier, the more you try and eat things that are colorful, the better it is for you. Isn't that crazy how we're so full of color? We all look different, and God has made our food and our vegetables and the things that we eat to be so colorful. I don't think it is a coincidence. It is what makes us well. So I'm gonna put some red onion in there. And if you like it chopped finer, you can chop it finer. I usually do. I'm just hurrying because I know I didn't do a whole bunch of TV magic this time. You guys know what TV magic is? TV magic is when you start cooking something and you show it and then hey, it's done, and you show the finished product. So I didn't do a lot of that tonight because I wanted to actually have something to show you while we talked and cooked. and something to share with you. So yeah, I want to say that, you know, finding out that your kids are allergic to everything or having any kind of food allergies can be overwhelming. Or if you don't have food allergies and you're trying to change your diet and switch over to a vegan diet, it can be overwhelming. But I want you to start off small and don't get overwhelmed. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? You can do anything that you put your mind to. Take baby steps. Maybe you try and have all one meal a week where you're doing vegan food and you're not going to have any meat that day. So now that I see those are getting a little bit of char on them, which means some of the flavors coming out, I'm going to put like, this is maybe 3 or 2 big garlic cloves that are minced into my pan. And I'm going to let that saute. And boy, I think this is going to taste amazing. I'm looking for salt because I always try and add a little bit of layers. And then I'm just going to start taking my beautiful red cabbage here. It is really gorgeous, guys. And what I'm aiming to do, and what I always aim to do, because a lot of us just think that we have to do a whole lot of, you know, seasonings that are, well, basically salt to season our food, but I'm really trying to do better about doing less salt, right? And look at that, how pretty that is. Sometimes we don't realize, like when you buy these seasoned salts and things that are pre-mixed, you get a lot more sodium than you intend to get. So I want to encourage you to try and taste the flavors that other herbs and seasonings are bringing to your food, and just let the salt be the finishing touch, instead of, you know, your food just tastes very salty or overly salted with all kinds of stuff. Now I'm going to put a little secret in here. Like Emerald says, oh, Colin is reminding me, I need another spoon. Hang on, I need another spoon. That my pasta, I don't want to get it too mushy, just al dente. Let's see if that's good. Perfect. I think that's perfect. And I'm going to ask my assistant, Dr. Martin, who's still in his scrubs, if he would come and drain my pasta for me, but leave a little bit of water on it, please. All right. All right. And in this, you'll notice that I have a ton of dill. Dill tastes so good. It really does taste like dill. So I'm going to put that in at the end, but I'm going to put about a tablespoon or so of, that probably is a little more than a tablespoon, of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to put a little bit of liquid smoke in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of onion powder and garlic powder, which I don't see right under my hands, but we have a lot of garlic in there. And you want to give it a taste. You see how pretty that is? I'm trying to wait to the last minute to get my dill in there, but I don't want to cook the life out of my veggies. Don't cook the life out of your veggies. Say it with me. Don't cook the life out of your veggies. All right. Okay. And guys, this is basically it. You can taste it. You can add a little bit of salt and pepper to it. Right now, I'm going to add the dill in it because I love dill. I do. You don't have to add as much as I did, but I love it. And I think it makes this dish incredibly beautiful. And I'm going to give it a taste. Always taste your food. As you're cooking it, taste it. If it's good to you, that's delicious. That is delicious. It might need a pinch more of salt, as my mama and my grandmother would say. She would say all kinds of stuff in New Orleans. I'm just gonna put a little bit more salt. That way, if you taste it at the end and you see how salty it is, but can you see how pretty that is? That is just absolutely beautiful. And that is what I call tasting and eating the rainbow. All right, so I'm gonna put the top on this and I'm gonna turn it off because I don't like my vegetables mushy. I kind of don't even want to put the top on it. I'm gonna do that to it to stop the cooking. Because I like the crunchiness in a veggie. All right, that is incredibly delicious. And you see how quickly that took me, well, because I had everything chopped up, yeah. But still, it's easy. It was dill, it was leeks, some shallots, red onion, yummy, bam, you got it, right? Now, let's work on the pesto, right? So I want my kids, my biggest thing is, they have these food allergies, but I don't want them missing out on food that everybody else has. So that was a major reason why, or things that other people are eating was a major reason why I wanted to just get in the kitchen and create things that they would be able to eat. And I'm gonna open the door because I'm burning up. It's hot. They've locked me in the kitchen because my kids can be loud. All right, so in this pesto, in traditional pestos, they call for Parmigiano cheese and different kinds of cheeses. And that is a big no for us, obviously, since we have dairy allergies. Now, when I say allergies, some people think, oh, maybe they just have a little sensitivity. No, if somebody tells you that they have a food allergy, for us, our family, it could mean a matter of life and death. That means hives, an anaphylactic response, which consists of hives, maybe vomiting, throat closing, all of those things. So it's something serious. And I wanted to be able to share that with the world. And a part of me doing this and doing Chef Mommy is to talk about the seriousness of food allergies, because some people may think you're just being picky, but no, we're not. So you want to take a handful of kale, and I'm going to put it in my, this is probably a little bit more than a handful of kale. I'm going to take a little bit of that out of there. All right, handful of kale, a handful of parsley. Did you like the way I put the parsley in there? And then you want to do a handful of basil. Basil is a big part of making any kind of pesto. It is the flavor that you see. Now for us, since we're not doing all the cheeses, we're going to replace some of that creaminess and cheesiness with one ripe avocado. Man, I can just think of all of the benefits that come from using all of these fresh herbs and the things that we're doing. I'm going to put the juice of 2 small lemons in there. And I'm going to I like the taste of mint, which is kind of a surprise, and it's a fun surprise to put in things. So I'm going to put probably like 3, that's about 2 to 3 leaves of mint in there. And I'm going to put 1/4 cup of olive oil. And then, guys, this, no kidding, this is our pesto. We're actually, after I blend it, I'm going to put a little bit of salt and salt it. But I'm also not going to put a bunch of salt because I'm going to add some vegan pesto. There are many, not pesto, vegan Parmesan. There's so many different brands of Parmesan out there for vegans. My favorite one is, my favorite 2, maybe. I can't even think of the names, but sorry, I just had a brain fart. But we're going to use this Parmesan to go in our pesto. But first, I'm looking for the top. Here is the top. And we're going to blend it up. And like magic, we're gonna have pesto in a few seconds. It is absolutely amazing, delightful, refreshing. I've made it so many times, and some of you out there may be saying, and I think I had some garlic. I'm gonna put 3 garlic cloves in there. 1, 2, 3, because I like garlic. You might need a breath mint after this is over. Look yourself up. And we're gonna get all of that moving around. I'm gonna stop it a little bit. Just to mash it down. I don't want to make it too loud to But this is so much fun cooking with you guys like this. This is great. I wish maybe the next time we do this, I can get you the recipes ahead of time and you can cook with me. All right. And this is what our pesto is looking like. And I'm thinking that it could use a little bit more liquid. Do you see that? So I'm gonna add a hair bit more of olive oil, and I'm gonna taste it because I can do that. Yummy. Oh, it's just so bright and wonderful. And I'm gonna put a pinch of salt in there. Remember, not too much salt because it's gonna be salty with the adding of the cheese. All right. And that is that. I told you this meal is pretty quick. I like to think that the things that you make don't have to be so time consuming. I'm a mother and it is, sometimes you have to be quick. I'm still not liking the way this is blended up. So, hold my mule while I try and blend this one more time just to get, you don't want to give all the secrets away to the kids because if they start seeing too many chunks, they'll be like, what is that? You want to eat that? All right, that's that. And now I have the pasta, which my husband so generously drained for me. Thank you very much, Colin. And I'm just gonna maybe drain a little bit more water off of them, off my pasta. So hang on. I shouldn't let there be any silence. No silence. And she's back. All right, there we go. Our pasta is all done, and look at that. It's beautiful. Can you see the pasta on this camera? I can't see both cameras. So some of them are stuck together a little bit, but that's okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now is take a little bit of, I'm going to take this little bit of that vegan parm right across the top of there. And I'm going to get a little bit of vegan butter, which by the way, there's like really no excuse for you if you're trying to be vegan. There's so many transitional things that you can do and use and products that are being made like never before, which I am so thankful for. So I'm going to put a little bit of butter in there. And because I love garlic, I'm going to put a little bit of garlic powder, which I don't, it's gotten away from me. I'm looking, whoop, a little bit of garlic powder in there. And what we want to do now is just turn this into some, I need somebody to check my mushrooms. Can you see how those mushrooms are coming along for me? This has gone faster than I really thought it would, y'all. So I probably should have started my mushrooms way ahead, a little bit ahead, but I wanted to show you all the varieties of mushrooms because vegans eat a lot of mushrooms. We eat a lot of mushrooms because they are so rich in flavor. And my sister was telling me this amazing and interesting tip about mushrooms. Did you know that mushrooms, the DNA of mushrooms are very close to the DNA of humans? It's the vegetable or that is most close to our DNA as humans. And so if you sit them out in the sun, they will absorb vitamin D in the same way that you do. And so when you eat them, you will get a higher dose of vitamin D. Boom. Don't say I never gave you nothing. All right. So while I wait for my mushrooms to get finished, I'm gonna, I'm still I'm gonna just put my pesto in there. I don't know if you can see that. And I don't want to tear up my beautiful spoon here. So I'm gonna switch to this guy. And I'm gonna make sure that my cabbage is staying nice and bright. But this is the pesto, guys. And you can make it go, you can probably add a little bit more liquid to get this pesto a little less thick, but it's up to you. If you want it to, have leaves in it and see it, but it could be a little bit smoother. All right, so now that I'm done with that, I'm just gonna toss this stuff together, and then I'm gonna give that a taste and see how it is, how it all comes together. Oh man, I cannot wait. I love the way it turns it all green and amazing. Can you guys see that? It's starting to look like pesto pasta. And another thing that you can add to it if you want to is some red pepper flakes. But today, because I'm feeling a little fancy, sometimes your kids will suck all of the fancy out of you. They're like, what is this? Ew. But I still make them try it. So I will omit the hotness of it today. And I also would have put, or should have put, some cayenne pepper in my cabbage. Yummy. Do you see how pretty this pasta is? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yummy. For some added, I just feel like I'm just being rough with my utensils today. But that's okay. Getting it out there. I just want to tell anybody that not to be intimidated by change, and by sometimes we are forced into doing things that we have to do, and it might be with the world, just what the world needed, just to share a little bit of yourself with somebody else, because God knows I would not be in the kitchen cooking and showing people how to cook if it wasn't for the struggle that presented itself to us. So I have some sun-dried tomatoes here that I love, and I use the ones that come packed in the oil because it just has more of that tomatoey flavor, and I find them to be, softer. You don't have to rehydrate them. I'm gonna put that right there. Do you guys see how this is an entire meal already that we have made that is gonna be incredibly yummy as soon as I get those mushrooms out? And we've only been doing this for what, half an hour-ish? So it's going along great, and I'm just gonna give this a taste as well and see what we're working with. So good. It's a little bit of lemony. And if you're trying to, one other thing I want to mention to you too, for people who are just trying the vegan thing, there are a lot of substitute products out there. I want to suggest to you not to get so caught up in trying to sub meat out, or trying to, say, I want some chicken, so I'm going to go get me some, vegan chicken. Eating like that can be dangerous and unhealthy for you. I mean, it's okay in moderation when you are transitioning from a meat eating diet totally, but as much as you can, try and eat vegetables. You will notice so much good and so much more change for you, because when you buy things that are processed, like the vegan substitutes and the meats, then you're really, you're subbing meats for something, one evil for another. I'll just say it like that. And so I want to make sure that whenever I'm doing this, that I tell people, don't get stuck. A lot of us who have grown up eating this way have gotten stuck in eating, all of the processed vegetarian replacements, but you don't want to do that. You want to actually branch out and really eat vegetables, really eat fruits. And I want to show you one more thing. I feel like this is so messy, and usually I'm not this stuff with things all over the place. Who am I kidding? I am. I'm a messy cook, and it's okay. All right, so we have our pesto pasta here, and I have this, and Colin is checking on the mushrooms for me, and y'all, they are looking so beautiful. Beautiful. It's amazing how much they shrink when they're cooking. Remember that big old pan that I showed you? Look how much they shrank. I don't know if you can see this. Can they see this, honey? If you can see how much they shrink. And then some of them get a beautiful, like charred meatiness on them that's incredible. And if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of liquid smoke to this for the smokiness of it. But this is literally the rainbow. And I'm gonna plate it up for you to show you, okay? I have a beautiful pink plate here. And it's simple. With kids, I find that they like food that is simple, and I'm forcing them to eat things that are simple. I'm not accepting that, oh, I don't like this, not without trying it first, right? So what I'm gonna do is try and get some really pretty pasta onto the plate. Do a little bit more there. And you can't tell me that this is not beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, easy to make. What about that? How about that? I would probably, now I do cook the life out of my mushrooms a little bit more than this, but I just wanted to show you guys. I'm probably gonna put these guys back in the oven just for a little bit more charredness. But look at the oyster mushroom, how it kind of gets like this neat, stringy deliciousness going. Do you see that? It turns into some like roast beef or something, dude. All right, and then you can go back on top of that with some more, a little bit more of this. And if you're a cracked pepper person, put some pepper on it and voila. And on the side, well, you can eat this all as a meal, or I'm just gonna plate it on the same plate because I can do that. And like Tabitha Brown says, that's my business. I'm gonna put this on here because it's just beautiful. And just like that, you can have a crusty piece of bread. And my husband's telling me to go to whichever camera to make this. And I'm so sorry. I live in a real house with real people. And my dog is out here barking at the public as we speak. I'm meant to put him away. I'm gonna close the door. But you can make you can make a meal out of anything. And this pesto pasta is perfect for summer. Now, one other trick and one other thing that I wanted to show you, I'm gonna just taste this because we have to taste stuff. I hate it when people make food and then they don't taste it. And usually that's me because I'm rushing and I'm trying to get done. But y'all, if you don't try this, I just want to say you're missing out. This is yummy, it's flavorful, it's easy. I've been looking forward to eating this all day long, and I'm so happy that I could make it with you. Remember, you don't have to use wheat pasta if you have a gluten allergy or intolerance. There's so many different pastas out there that are made out of like beans, that are made out of all kinds of things. The last thing that I wanted to show you, but I don't think I even have the space to do it, is that one time I went over to a friend's house for my kids to swim, and they were really little. And maybe I can show you if I pull this away really quickly. They were really, really little. And a thing that I got into doing is that if it was gonna be a birthday party, sometimes I would just leave early. I would leave before food or cake or whatever was gonna be served because I just didn't want them to be uncomfortable and for them not to be able to eat what was served. And especially if I didn't know what was going to be served, I would just leave so it wouldn't be a fuss. This time, she had gone out of her way to make like stuff that my kids could eat. Red beans and rice, right? That was safe. And then it came time for dessert, and my heart just sank and dropped because she was serving ice cream. And I said, well, we're gonna go. I would just, not make a big deal out of it. We're gonna go, we're gonna, get the kids out. I didn't want them to see ice cream being served. And she said, what's wrong? Why are you leaving? I said, well, they can't have that. And I didn't know you were gonna have ice cream, so I didn't bring any ice cream. She was like, I have just the thing. And her name is Julie. And as a matter of fact, this happened in Nashville. She went into her refrigerator and got out some frozen bananas and turned it right in my face, right into ice cream, which is what I want to do for you right now. And I didn't know if I'd have time to do this, but since my blender is full of pesto, it wouldn't taste good with this. I am just going to show you how easy it is to turn some very ripe frozen bananas into an amazing dessert so no one feels left out. Okay, I'm gonna pull this out of the way and push this over a bit so we can actually plug it up. And I'm gonna move this out of the way so you don't have to stare at that. All right, I am like totally sweating. Feels like a marathon in here, but I hope that this is encouraging somebody and blessing somebody today, right? So I'm gonna take some frozen bananas that I have right here, boom, boom, and I'm gonna put them in there. And there's all kinds of milk out there too today. I'm gonna try just like two, just so I can show you how this stuff actually turns into a dessert right in front of your face. It's like a miracle. And sometimes, guys, depending on what liquid I have, Colin, if you just give me some of that Ripple milk or anything that has a little bit of vanilla. Let's do the Ripple. So in my house, the milks that are king are Ripple, a pea milk. Rice milk was our #1 go-to for a while. I drink soy milk. And this is how we do it. This is how, you don't want to put too much liquid because then you'll turn it in. And you may not even have to put the liquid, but I'm just doing it to quickly. Woo, woo. And it does it a little faster than my Vitamix, but I just wanted to show you guys. You can add like other fresh fruit to it. And if it's not sweet enough, but usually if you're gonna use a banana that is, freeze them when they're getting like spotted and speckled and dark, then you'll end up with some really great ice cream, right? And I'm just gonna take something here to, but it's amazing. It's like vegetables and fruits can morph into so much. Like, I'm so excited about it because it's healthier than eating some ice cream because the sugars that you're gonna get are gonna be natural. And I'm gonna add just a little bit more liquid to mine. Sometimes I add a little bit of orange juice or any kind of fresh juice that I have on hand, apple juice. Now I have some people I know on this live, my sister's like, ew, bananas, I hate bananas. You can also do this with avocado. Sometimes I add a little bit of cinnamon. And I don't know if you can see that this is churning and turning into an ice cream. Right before your eyes, you're gonna have some ice cream. Look at this, guys. Do you see that? Do you see that? Ice cream. You scream. We all scream for ice cream. And some things that I have done with this, sometimes I just serve it just like it is. And then sometimes if my kids feel like they're missing out on life because they can't have an ice cream sandwich. It's all about getting creative. And one thing Chef Mommy and being the mother of kids with food allergies has taught me is you gotta be creative. You can't quit when something is hard, you have to find another way to make it work. And so right now, these graham crackers just happen to be accidentally vegan. I'm gonna take 2, boom, split it into one. Take one, split it into 2. And I am going to make an ice cream sandwich. You can't beat that. I wish I could share it with you. It's so good. It's sweet. I didn't need any sugar in it. And Summer, this is the end of my Cooking with Chef Mommy tonight. If anybody has any kind of comments or whatever, you can take the wheel now, but I'm finished. I'm gonna enjoy this.
Thank you.
For questions.
This has been amazing. Listen, let me tell you something. I personally I'm doing better with my vegetable intake. I'll say that. So I'm probably like the kids, right? But what you did today was so inspiring. I'm like, I'm about to make some pesto. That is 90% vegetables. Who does that? Who does that? You do that. That is amazing. I have my sticky note, okay, with the ingredients written down. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. But this has been really, really good. So what we want to do at this time, for anybody that has a question, you can throw it in the chat here for us. I'll be sure to share that question with you. I see there's at least one person that had a raised hand here. But if you have a question, throw it in the chat. Heather, one thing I would like for you to share with us, because you mentioned it a little bit in passing before when talking about allergies, and I know I learned this as I had a friend, I have a friend who has a child with food allergies, that a dairy allergy and lactose intolerant are not the same thing. Can you just tell us a little bit?
Absolutely. They're two very different things. So for instance, I am lactose intolerant. When people are lactose intolerant, you have trouble digesting the proteins that are in milk and milk products, right? So like ice cream would totally mess me up, cheese, all of those things, but it would not take my life, right? It's different with if you have a food allergy to dairy. For instance, my daughter, and all of them, but my daughter is the most adventurous of my bunch, who is a foodie. She can't wait until this is over so she can come down here and just go through all of it, right? So that has made her more susceptible to, she'll try things more readily. And so she's gotten a little bit of things that she shouldn't have. And so one time we were at Panera Bread, and everywhere we go, it just means you have to check food labels, you have to learn how to read and be able to tell, sometimes milk can take on a different name, and you have to know the different names for milk. When you look at ingredients, if you see casein, it's a wrap. No, if you have a food allergy to milk, you don't want any products with casein in it because it's milk. So Harper, if she gets one little tiny bit of cheese, wow, her throat can, usually it depends on what the response is. And I'm gonna put down this, my melting.
I interrupted your snack.
My melting snack. I'm gonna put it over here. But yes, so having a food intolerance, which are and a food allergy, two different things. Food allergies are life-threatening. They require you to walk with an EpiPen. EpiPens save your life. And my daughter we've had to administer the EpiPen a few times to her to save her life, because sometimes it can close. It's like your own body is attacking itself, basically, when you have a food allergy to something. And so when people say I have a food allergy to it, it is way different than being lactose intolerant, right? So I can eat some milk or eat things that have dairy in it. And if I have an intolerance, then it will probably give me a stomach ache, or, in my case, it'll make my face break out, or I would just feel maybe a little bit clogged up or have a little extra mucus if I ate it, which is why I don't eat it. Halfway into this, I haven't always been vegan, but I've been vegan for going on 5 years now. And I just felt compelled to do it after watching What the Health. And it made sense with my kids, because I wasn't eating that stuff at home anyways, because I don't bring things that they're allergic to into our home. And I was torturing myself. So I just, I had to stop it. So that's the difference. One is life-threatening, and one you'll survive, but you may be uncomfortable.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for that clarification. I just think it's really important.
It is.
Question from a guest: how long did the mushrooms cook and at what temperature?
Okay, the mushrooms I put in at 350, and you want to cook them for 20 minutes or until they get like really charred, not super charred, but if you like some of the charring, which I do because some of the flavor, they'll begin to like, caramelize a little bit, if you will. And that's when you want to take it out and then just put it on top of your whatever. I mean, you can put it on anything, but that's what I did with the mushrooms.
Great. Okay, so another question for you. For people who, like I told you, I owned up to it. Don't get me wrong, I do eat vegetables. But for people who are like, oh my goodness, I'm so picky. What do you think are some good entry points for vegan and even vegetable selection? And how, I mean, I'm asking there are a lot of layers here, but just entry points for people that they won't try it and then, and turn off and stop.
Okay, so that's a really good question, and I always talk about it because, especially for people who are older, I joke and I laugh when I do other shows, and I say, if you're old and you tell me, like somebody told me recently, one of my good friends told me that up until like 5 years ago, and he's in his 40s, that he hadn't eaten a vegetable in like 20 years. Wow. And I'm just thinking, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill yourself? Do you have a death wish? So I think the first biggest part of entry level, like starting things, is you have to psych your mind out about things. You have to maybe get on the internet or find other friends who are making foods and like ask around. Like my husband there's certain things that he says that he won't try because maybe you grew up eating it and it was disgusting. Maybe somebody made okra and it was super slimy and you never want to try it again. Well, I suggest revisiting those things and looking for recipes and looking for ways to make them that you think, maybe I might be able to tolerate it. And one big thing is too, for adults who've acquired these like aversions to certain foods, go back and try and make it yourself, because sometimes somebody else has made it and they've done something to it that's just wrong. So I would start there, and I would say have an open mind. If eating is about the pleasure of it, but it's very much about the health of it. If you're not getting vegetables and you're not getting fruit in, you are dying. You're dying faster than you need to die, because those are the things that feed you all of the alive things that are gonna, keep your body going. Water, some people say they don't drink water, and I'm guilty of that. I can drink more water, but we're killing ourselves every day when we don't put those things back into our bodies. So I would say, try to make it yourself. A lot of ways that I get my kids to try things is I get them involved in the cooking process. And I try to make things fun. Like you saw that one slide I made, somebody said they hated bananas. He tried a banana that day because I made the pancake have a hair full of bananas, and it looks kind of cool, So think outside the box. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Try it and try and let go of what might have triggered you not to eat that in the first place. But don't say you don't like it until you try it.
I received the sermon. Amen. Somebody asked that can you run down the list again for the ingredients for pesto?
You know what I'll do? If you guys will visit my Instagram page when this is over, I will list the whole recipe there in my Instagram stories. So I am the Chef Mommy on Instagram. And if you're not on Instagram, I can maybe send it to Summer too, so that she can put it on. Can you do that?
Yeah. I can send it out to all the participants.
Yes, I will actually do that for you guys. I meant to do that for you guys ahead because it really is delicious, and it's something that you want to include at least in your summer recipes, because basil is the time to eat it right now. All of our herbs are coming back alive and springing back up. So you want to eat as many herbs as you can right now. Yep.
And you love garlic. I love garlic too. Oh my goodness. We can put garlic in everything. And this is just a plug for anybody that lives in Nashville. The F.A. Jenkins Garden is growing lots of garlic right now. So soon they'll be ready and I was just up at the garden yesterday, and we have lots of garlic. So
that is so
feel free
awesome.
to reach out. We may have some garlic for you.
Oh, to you, principal, for having a garden for those kids. That is a wonderful blessing.
But we have wonderful volunteers who come and help our kids with gardening club and things of that nature. So it's just nice to have some things out there that they can see how it grows. Yeah. So Heather, this has been amazing. I'm amazed that you just did all of that in basically 40 minutes. So that is inspiring as well, especially for people that have such busy schedules, you know.
Yes.
And it is such a temptation to just grab this, grab that, you know, already halfway prepared, open the can, heat it up, you know, all of those things. And to see that, okay, you can have the rainbow within an hour, you know, is very encouraging, and it can be tasty and all of those wonderful things. So
absolutely can.
I really
absolutely. I'm so grateful that you have me. And I want to tell you guys who may be intimidated by cooking and getting in the kitchen, don't be. You can't mess up, especially with cooking. Baking is another thing. A little bit more precision involved in baking, but still don't be afraid of baking. Don't be afraid of getting in the kitchen, because it's really about tweaking it to your taste and what tastes good to you. And trying new things. And you can find me on my page and look out for my book. Y'all pray for me. I'm trying so hard to have it come out. It's been a couple of years in the making, but God just won't. I tried to stop doing Chef Mommy during COVID, and God was like, nope, this is what you need to be doing for such a time as this. So I'm excited to have been here with you, and I want to just encourage you, don't give up. Your health is you are the most important, you know, thing that you have to put into yourself. You don't want to be spending money on the back end of going to the hospital. Either way, you're going to spend the money. So it may cost a little bit more and I mean, maybe even cost you in time, but anything that is worth your while, it's going to take a little bit more effort. Remember that. And once you get into the swing of it, of cooking for yourself and planning, you have to plan what you're going to cook. And do that, and plan to eat out less. Get your jars of even if you have to pre-chop stuff. They sell stuff that's chopped up: onions, garlic, celery. They sell it frozen, they sell it fresh. I like it fresh. If you like it fresh like me, chop it up yourself, put it in some mason jars, put it in your refrigerator, so that when you're cooking, that's less time you have to spend doing the prep work. But you are worth it. You're worth every minute, every good ingredient, every organic ingredient. You're worth it, because God paid the price for you when he died on Calvary. So he wants you to be here and to live life abundantly, to live it well, no matter if you have food allergies or if you're trying to just be better. So you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. That is my favorite text, and I remind myself and encourage myself with that every single day.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Before we close, guys, as promised, we're going to do our drawing for our Whole Foods gift card for our registered attendees.
Woo, woo.
So I have your names in this little bowl here, and we have two $25 gift cards to Whole Foods that we're going to draw out of this bowl. So the first person is Pamela Hopkins.
Woo!
Congratulations, Pamela. You will receive an email after this webinar tonight with a $25 Whole Foods gift card. And for our next person, I'm mixing it up, we have Ashley Miller. She is our second winner tonight. Thank you so much for coming. $25 Whole Food gift card. Everybody, we appreciate you coming. Please, 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 tonight's session, we thank you all who came in as live participants, because you get to participate in the Q&A. But if you have friends, family, anybody that you know would benefit from tonight's session, it was streamed live on YouTube. We are streaming right now on the Riverside YouTube page. So go to Riverside SDA on YouTube, get that link, copy it, send it out to your friends and family, because truly, 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 this session has been an amazing session in which Heather brought all the energy and all the cooking skills, and we now are challenged to do better in our own kitchens. So thank you, Heather, for helping us take that next step. We love it.
Thank you, Summer, for having me. Bye.